welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I'm Clay Link here with Todd Zola on this Friday morning. Todd, what's new with you, man?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. Eager to get going. It's now T-shirt weather, folks. So maybe go out later on and buy some new dress T-shirts.
Yeah, I probably need to do that. I have my Brian Pillman, it's kind of like a spoof and a goof on Kurt Cobain. But I really did enjoy the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring episodes. Those were really good, free on YouTube. And yeah, I'm excited to, get back into baseball. I've been down the past couple of days after getting shot number 2, but feeling pretty good today. And it's actually kind of coincided with kind of being out of commission and the Reds being so bad. It kind of worked out well. Pretty much unwatchable right now. So I got to turn them off early a couple times this week. I guess the Giants are technically the best team in baseball right now, right? And that 19-4 drubbing is going to do wonders for their run differential too.
Yeah, well, I mean, run differential, it's important, but
it'll just make them look better for a while.
Yeah, early in the season doing the Pythag may skew things a bit, but it's cyclical. But you're right, this is kind of a bad cycle for the Reds now, and hopefully
4 in a row at home.
Yeah, hopefully they can dig themselves out of it.
Yeah, and I got a text from my dad last night, and I think he was at a game in Jupiter or Port St. Lucie. Either way, I think he saw DeGrom. He said DeGrom was throwing 102, and now it sounds like DeGrom's next start will come in the majors. So that's a big boost for his fantasy managers. I just wanted to throw that out there. That's big.
Yeah, there's been some controversy. Should he have done that in the big leagues instead of on the minor leagues? It's a darned if you do, darned if you don't scenario, right? I mean,
yeah, I feel for those minor leaguers.
Oh, well, you know what? I'll bet those kids would rather strike out against Jacob DeGrom than hit homer against a minor leaguer their age,
Just to say they got to face him.
Yeah, I think he should have offered $1,000 to any kid who even fouled the ball off of him. I think he would have given out $2,000 last night. But, it has to do with activation, and if you activate him and something goes wrong, you lose him for another 10 days. And so it's just customary to get the first rehab start under the belt. Obviously, you run the risk of 7 out of 9 strikeouts and Mets fans complaining, why didn't he do that in the major leagues? So it goes both ways.
True. Now, of course, this is the 2-Star Pitcher Podcast, and we are sponsored by WynnBET. I want to thank them for their sponsorship of the show. And I want to do, before we got into those 2-star starters for next week, just run through some of the Stake League pickups.
Yeah.
I'll give you an idea who we may be looking at in some leagues this weekend. Josh Fuentes was the top pickup for 9. He enjoyed some home cooking recently, but I'm not a huge believer in Josh Fuentes. Corbin Martin for 5. He's up. I know he was part of the original Fabageddon, and then he got hurt. I think he tore his UCL or something. But Corbin Martin, definitely a guy to keep a look at or take a look at. He will not be part of the 2-star starters. Looks like his next would come next Saturday versus St. Louis. So he went 5 innings against the Dodgers in his debut, took the loss, but 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Maybe you got to consider.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent park to pitch in. You got to consider everybody nowadays. I may be a tad higher on Fuentes. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. I'm okay with Fuentes for home games. And I don't know, again, your Stake League goes Friday to Thursday, so it's a bit off kilter to normals. But if he's got 4 home games, I'm not against the Josh Fuentes pickup. Although Brendan Rodgers is in rehab, no?
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually on the road all of next week, the Rockies. So they're at the Mets and then at Pittsburgh. So
a couple bad hitting parks, not the greatest of pitching staffs, but yeah, I mean, if he's playing though, and sometimes currency is at bat. So
true. William Contreras was still out there in this league. This is only a 1-catcher league, 16 teams, but only 1 catcher. I actually had a bid in on him. I was looking to upgrade on James McCann, so that's where I'm at on. Right? That's where I'm at on William Contreras, and that's where I'm at on James McCann.
You drop McCann or hope he gets better?
Well, there wasn't much of an upgrade on the waiver wire aside from William Contreras, so I should have seen that coming last week and had him. But no, I still have James McCann.
Would you have dropped McCann?
I would not have, just so
that
I wouldn't have to go digging around again. I was going to drop. I did drop Daniel Lynch. My ad was Brandon Marsh for $1, but I had most of the guys I had bids on went for more. I had a bid on Chris Bubich, who went for $5.
Yeah,
and kind of like what he's done. He kind of, was kind of a flop in his debut, but I think on that team he could be decent ad. And James added Vidal Brujan. I had a $1 ad on him. Jesus Sanchez I was looking to add to stash, but Hansel Robles for only $3 too. Looks like he's pretty clearly the Minnesota closer. I'm kind of dwindling, but he was on my priority list. I think I only had $1 on him, but Hansel Robles for $3 is a nice little ad.
Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, Alex Colomé and Rogers, and it ends up being Hansel Robles, who, if I'm not mistaken, did not pitch very well last year.
Not at all.
Yeah,
but I mean,
a short year.
He lost the job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but just even so, it's in Minnesota's a team that, man. At what point do we stop saying? I still believe, I still believe they'll make a run. Maybe a wild card run. I don't think they're as bad as they've shown. So I still got to believe they'll generate some save chances.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And so, I actually added him in labor last week, and it's like way overspent. But I kind of had that thing where I had him and dropped him and just really didn't want to like have egg on my face and lose him.
Yeah, right.
But I was surprised nobody went higher than 3 for a backup on him in labor. But I was thrilled to get him, and I desperately need some saves. G-Man Choi was added. Miguel Andujar was added. It sounds like the Yankees may end up trading for Delino DeShields Jr.
They're talking, right? That was the latest note we had. Yeah, that's man. Why don't they just bring back Jacoby Ellsbury? No, I mean that's the desperate measures, I suppose, with Delino DeShields, but
yeah, they're pretty injury riddled, but at the same time, Delino DeShields.
Exactly.
Really, he's off to a hot start in the minors for whatever that's worth. But
nothing. It's worth this.
Yeah. No kidding. Amir Garrett was picked up. He's been dumped, I think, a few times in this league. Jake Odorizzi. Nick Maton was added. Jackson Cower, too. James added Cower and Brujan, so it is stashing season.
What, James thinks he knows prospects or something?
Just a little bit. Edward Olivares, you'll be happy to see was added. I don't know what kind of start he's off to. But Mauricio Dubon.
Right. Olivares and Jared Oliva were these are going to win me the titles kind of guys, and Oliva's been hurt. So it'd be nice if Olivares can not make a comeback, but can do something.
Yeah, absolutely. I lost Mike Trout in this league, and that's going to sting for a little while. Todd.
I know where to find him. Find him on the IL.
Yeah, that's going to really hurt for a while. I do have a guy I could plug in Brandon Crawford, who's been pretty good, but when I have to plug in Daniel Crawford, Brandon Crawford for Mike Trout, it hurts. So I'm going to look to try to stay afloat. Hopefully I'll get Alek Manoah up soon, but it's going to be a painful one to swallow for a lot of managers out there. Just got to make do. That is why I added Marsh. I know they're saying he's not a candidate right now, but I have to think, look, that team has to try. Like, they can't just fold now. They're not going to, but they can't fold without Trout. And I guess it's not a great start for Marsh, but he is getting on base at a 412 clip. He has homered, and he's got 8 walks. So, yeah, I mean, he's in 7 games. He's been just fine.
The opposite of Joe Odell, who's hitting like 190 but slugging like 600.
Well, I'd love to see Marsh taking 8 walks in 7 games at AAA to start. So, I don't know. Look at the options they've had recently. I think Marsh should be up pretty soon.
We say that, and I understand it, and I believe it. On the other hand, I want my guys, I want a good hitter swinging on AAA. I think we're now at the point where that's a double-edged sword.
Look at the outfield the last few days for the Angels. Upton, Taylor Ward in right, then Juan Lagares in center, then Juan Lagares in center, and Taylor Ward in right.
And Upton went through a spell. Hey, he's back. Well, he's not so back anymore. And I have a chance to acquire him in a league. I'm trying to be debating. If I have an inquisitive look on my face, I'm considering it a Upton trade. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm starting Justin Upton, I think, at TGFBI and back in the top 100. So that feels all right. The hell,
no comment. No comment.
I still feel like the standings don't really matter yet.
I'm making a move in the Rad Slam, though. How about that?
Nice, man.
No,
it's still. I mean, I do love that. I'm not doing that well in every league, but I just feel like I'm in the hunt in most leagues, and that's all you want at this point, because there's still more than 2/3 of the season left to go. Quarter play,
right. I'm in the same boat in most leagues. I don't feel very good in, unfortunately, labor and tout. I think I'll be better than I'm doing now, but I don't have that feeling that I did when I made the drafts. TGFBI, I look at the team and it should be better. I don't know if it's first place better. That's going to be the issue. So, like you said, though, long season, and teams are losing Trout. Teams are losing, these.
Yep.
Some
teams giving up on baseball. Let's be frank. That'll happen.
Yeah, and that goes getting close, folks. That's in the NFBC too.
Yep, it's true. And I mean, when that happens, it's some of the better players in the game. It just their mind isn't totally 100% focused on baseball, and maybe they miss a few weeks of fab. It adds up at the end of the season. So just keep grinding. I mentioned James adding Brujan. I was kind of hoping maybe we'd get Franco up, Wander Franco. I think it's got to be pronounced Franco. I was hoping we'd maybe get him, but James threw some cold water on that. But it was a realistic take. Franco's not even on the 40-man. Why would they call him up over Brujan, who is on the 40-man? And I get it. He's such a super talent, but at the same time, him, Taylor Ward, and Brujan are all slashing with an OPS over 1,000. So they're all tearing it up. There's not a lot separating them.
And Brujan's playing some outfield, which helps Tampa's flexibility and gets more spots for him. I mean, when you bring Franco up, when you bring Wander Franco up, you're making the changes, right? You're repositioning the infield. You're adjusting more than just one spot. So I think they want to be perfectly confident that he's up to stay, and the Rays will make a run. So
I guess his numbers have fallen off in a few days. That's going to happen when the season's so young.
Sure.
Sure. Franco's OPS now is only 867. The other day it was over 1,000. Brujan's is 1079.
Right.
He's got 6 homers and 7 bags already.
Yeah, Brujan, and he's known for the steal, the power. Where's that come from? Now we'll see if that plays in Tampa.
True. It looks like he only had 4 homers in 99 games in the minors in 2019.
Right.
Brujan, and you're already up at 6. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know how these guys have matured over the last year plus.
Yeah, the other thing we're finding is one of the things they're discovering with the new ball is it's not it does the air resistance. There are certain launch angles and velocities that are favored over others. So it might just be that some of these players that are, line drive hitters may just be hitting the sweet spot, literally and figuratively, of the ball to have it travel. And maybe Brujan's in that lot of players.
Yeah, and too, he's 23 years old. Maybe that physical maturity over the last couple of years, just natural growth. But he's crushing it. And James, that may be something that pushes him up the standings big time. But I'm looking forward to getting Manoah up. I have to think Alek Manoah's up next week, but hard to I haven't plugged him into the starters grid or anything, because I can't do that. But
I feel like we've said that every week for the past 3 weeks, but I think you're probably right soon. We'll be right sooner than later, but I think it's getting to the point where we're probably right. I had you're talking about watching the Reds the past couple of days. Watched the Red Sox and Blue Jays battle it out in Dunedin the past 3 days. It's gonna be a fun season watching those two teams play another 16 times. And I'm a Park Effect guy and this, that, and everything, but both, I think it was Richardson, Pivetta, it felt like a Coors Field start, partially because of the Blue Jays' vaunted lineup, but like both of those guys, well, not so much Pivetta last night, but they just barely, if you escape only giving up 3 runs in 5 innings, you feel like that's a win for your starter because he should have given up more. You feel that way in Coors Field. So the combination of Dunedin and the Blue Jays lineup, I felt that way. And Red Sox made a comeback last night with JDM, but that, games is, as good as a draw. I mean, ranking the two teams, those two teams are going to be fun to watch for the next, 4.5 months, 16 more games.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I only have JD Martinez in a few leagues, but seeing him go yard to cap that off and
opposite field.
Awesome.
That's classic JD Martinez, right?
Yeah, and then Barnes nailed down the save. So they, I was skeptical about them, but they have a pretty good team. That division's really tough, and it's gonna be fun. But yeah, I've been eyeing up like Anthony K's spot in the rotation for Alek Manoah, but Ross Stripling now has a 7.20 ERA. Matt's ERA is up at 4.69. So I think maybe it's either replacing Stripling, replacing K. I think he's up next week.
And Nate Pearson is hurt, right? Still hurt. Well, not still hurt, but just got re-aggravated or whatever you might want to call it.
I hope he's up next week because the Blue Jays only have 5 games the week of June 1st. So we'll see. But I think if you can stash, I mean, he's James's number 1 prospect, pitching prospect that is, and yeah, should be stashed if in all leagues that allow stashing. Todd, before we get into the 2-star starters, anything else on your mind today?
Yeah, if you're in the video, you just saw me kind of frown. Talking about the Blue Jays, George Springer, a note, still not running at full speed.
Oh, classic.
That's not a good thing for those of us that are counting on George Springer. So, let's jump into the 2 starts. And we probably should tell the listeners, Clay, we have a new feature, which I don't think I even told you about. When we go through each day, we're going to predict who gets the no-hitter.
We should at least pick one every week, when we have the grid up, just offer our no-hitter of the week pick.
I'll make a quick comment on the no-hitters. I tweeted this out twice yesterday, and it got no play. So either people don't care or I'm all wet. But I think what's happening with the no-hitters and the near no-hitters in May, people are just looking at those and just making assumptions about the game. If you take a look at the underlying metrics for April and May, okay, homers are actually down in May compared to April, and they're usually up. Strikeouts are down in May compared to April, and batting average in balls in play is up 7 points. So we're at all this complaint about it's all about the home runs and there's so many strikeouts and not putting the ball in play. Yeah, it's changing. Whether or not it's organic or just happenstance or hitters adjusting, I think it's being masked by the no-hitters that something is going on. And it's at this point we're 2/3 the way through the month. And I did the data, looked at it yesterday. So it's, I think, another set of games have come into play. But the point being, the balls in play, the batting average in play is 294, which is pretty normal for this time of year. Strikeouts are down and home runs are down. So let's not get blinded by the no-hitters, and let's take a look at what's actually going on. It might be there might be a change going on that we're not aware of. Anyway.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Well, I just can't help but feel like maybe we're going into like this year will be viewed as a bit of a dead ball year,
but
a little bit of a dead ball era, but maybe not.
I think we're being blinded. That's what I'm saying. Maybe. I think we're being blinded. 6 no-hitters are amongst 3 teams. Then there's Musgroves. So I think they're just focusing too much on something narrow. It's too myopic, and we're actually missing. And I don't know that there's an adjustment going on with the hitters. What we may be seeing just might be naturally occurring. But I think we are missing the fact that balls are back in play. And let's see what happens over the next 4 months.
So over under rest of the season, would you say over or under? Let's put it at 3.5 no hitters rest of the way.
I'm going to take the under.
Wow. Okay. So you don't expect like a new record shattered and like new record set by, 4 or 5.
Well, first of all, most no hitters occur in like the first month and the last month.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out of that general range. Now I know that a couple have occurred this month, but this week, exactly.
I think they've been like 4.
Things are heating up. Temperature heating up. What's the weirdest part is people are afraid of innings, right? No hitter means complete games. So although all these guys are veterans, and none of them were those Johan Santana 155, whatever it was, pitches. Mets fans don't tweet me because I got the number wrong, making it up. The point being, to force the no hitter out of them. And forced a career out of him, as it turned out. But, I mean, they've all been reasonable number of pitches. And, all right, maybe Rodon got an extra day, or some of these guys got an extra day. Now maybe Kluber will get an extra day. But they all been very efficient, too. So, anyway.
Well, we will get into the 2-start starters for the week of May 24th. But first, let's throw to a word from our sponsors. Now we're back on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. It is the Friday edition, grading all of next week's 2-start options on a 0 to 5 scale. Todd and I will give our no-hitter of the week picks, even though Todd is expecting a dip in those, it sounds like. Riley Smith, probably not worth talking much about. I'm going to give him a 0.
Agreed.
Yeah, he hasn't had much luck, much success. And San Francisco, again, I mean, technically, maybe I didn't say this on the show. Maybe I said this. We were talking best team in baseball right now.
The juggernaut.
Yeah, absolute juggernaut. And
let's just wait. Can we say the best record in baseball?
Yeah, let's do that instead, because they are not the best team in baseball.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
the Dodgers have a lot of injuries though, and they're starting out
right. Yeah. well, the kid hit a home run last night. So.
That's true. Yeah, I've been hating on that move, but who knows? Maybe it'll work out. Just weird to me that, and again, I say again, and I've said these things, but I don't remember which show or pod it was on, but Dodgers collective brain trust a lot smarter than me, I'll admit. But I just don't really see it, and he's been well below replacement level past 4 years, so we'll see. Charlie Morton, your number is not great so far at Boston, at the Mets. Second one's pretty nice. First one scares you a little bit, and that is assuming they skip somebody and go with Morton because they have 2 off days, the Braves. So it's very tentative 2-step. But tentative, I'm going to probably give Charlie Morton a 4 just because I feel like better days are ahead, and I like that second matchup a lot.
No, I agree. And you mentioned the rough start. I did the Z Files this week has come out. And he was one of the people I discussed, and I'm not concerned about Morton coming back. I think he'll come back. I don't want to acquire him at full freight in a trade because of the injury. But I know we usually go 0 to 5. And the idea being 5 means I start him in 5 leagues. And then we say, well, I'm not going to give him an elite mark. I'm going to take the liberty of, we can keep the same thing. I go 0 to 150. I'm going to give my top 20 pitchers. If he's in the top 20, he's going to get a 5. If he's 21 to 40, he's going to get a 4. You can do whatever you want because you're the boss. And I'm going to kind of do that. If it's out of the top 100, he gets to 0. So someone from 81 to 100 is going to get a 1. So I'm going to kind of change things up just so I don't have to say he's not elite. But so Morton comes out at 22, so that comes out as a 4.
Oh, I kind of like that general rule, and definitely be sure to check out Todd's weekly pitcher rankings every week at rotowire.com, and you can follow along with us at our grid, although it is subject to change, so you may be looking at a different grid by the time.
This week's been nuts as far as changes go.
It's just insane, man. All the injuries, all the changes. The news crew here at RotoWire has done a fantastic job keeping up. I know they're trying their damnedest and their hardest, and just a lot. And,
Yep.
trying to stay on top of everything. So rotowire.com, by the way, /try is the new link if you want to check us out for 10 days free on us. John Means, Dean Kramer at Minnesota, at the White Sox. I think Means has probably gotten into that 5 range. Kramer, though, I can't start him. I can't feel good about trotting him out, even against the lowly Twins team. That seems like a good get-right spot for that Minnesota club.
Yeah.
Means a 5 and Kramer the other end of the spectrum a 0.
We're only in the B, so we will have a dispute at some point, but not yet.
Yeah, let me note these grades because we will be recapping them at the end of the show. And I will include them in the show notes of the pod as well. Your Red Sox, Todd, no 2-start starters, it looks like, because while we kind of project the Braves to skip an arm and go Morton twice, we're not doing that with Boston. So, and that's because really most of their starters are pitching pretty well.
You know who's not? Nathan Eovaldi's not. And Ed Rodrigo is.
Yeah.
Their best two are struggling.
Funny.
It's almost as if Dave Bush has put more effort into the lower end of the staff. I think they'll be fine. But it's just ironic at this point that the two guys that, I don't know if it's ironic, but it's just weird that the two guys they expected to carry the staff, if there is such a thing, are the ones struggling a little bit. So anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, neither have an ERA over 5, but yeah, it's.
Is that the measuring stick? I know I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at that's what
That's the I guess
that's where we're at. I mean,
so when Richards, Pivetta, and Perez are all sub 3, 8 looks like.
Yeah,
all sub 4. Now I thought Jake Arrieta was done like 2 years ago. I guess I was wrong on that. Got to give him a little bit more credit than I was willing to give him at 35, but. Still find him hard to trust. The whip is not that bad, but he has been a real whip killer in recent years. I mean, 1.51 last season, 1.47 the year before. It's only 1.3 now, but just working around all that traffic scares the bejesus out of me. So even at Pitt versus Cincinnati, I can't give him better than a 3, Jake Arrieta.
I've got him at a 2.
Yeah.
But maybe if I relook at the number of innings that I have projected for, maybe it'll work out. But in that
seems like a more
that 2 to 3 range,
level-headed. Yeah. I like the 2.
Well, I'm
going to stick a 3 because that was my first instinct.
I still think Cincinnati's lineup's dangerous. I mean, Pittsburgh is just not. So maybe in that regard, if you say it's a 4 for Pittsburgh and a 2 for Cincy, then it's a 3. I mean, depends how you want to look at it.
Well, I got you down for a 2 there, Todd.
Right.
Now, Wade Miley, he's not going to be my pick for the no-hitter of the week here. At Washington, at the Cubs, and he's just so volatile is the word I'm looking for. Just so much contact that it leaves a lot up to variance, and the defense, which we know is horrible behind him there with the Reds. And, if I got Arietta as a 3, I'm going to go Wade Miley at 2 because I think he's a step below him.
Well, if I'm doing the step below, I go 1. I'm going with a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the away, both dangerous offenses.
Yeah.
No, congratulations. No hitters are fun to watch. But, man, no, that's a 1 for me.
Now, Sam Hentges, I heard Jeff pronounce it a different way. It's still giving me trouble. Hentges and Savali for Cleveland. Now, I love Savali, and maybe I think actually I'm going to put my no-hitter of the week pick on Savali here at Detroit. Then versus Pirano gets a little tougher, but Savali, I think, actually is probably a 5. And Hentges, I'll give he's been pretty terrible, so I think I'm going to have to give him a 0.
Yeah, he gets a 0. I've heard the announcer says Hentges. I talk about watching so many games with the sound off, trying to listen on the radio to get a better, because now one of the things I made light of this week on the Twitter was I'm not very good at getting names right. It's easy to spell them right. It's sometimes hard to say them. So I'm trying to make a better effort to actually hear more games and hear some of these players' names.
I do that too, just out of respect to them, just trying to get it right when we talk,
Yeah. I mean, I
my best.
that's what, the whole respect as far as spelling goes. That's what I've been saying for years. But I think it's just now that I'm on, doing the pod and radio, etc. I think it's just as respectful to pronounce it correctly. Although, you know what? I'm not even sure all the announcers pronounce it correctly, but I think the majority of them do.
Yeah,
or
now
try to.
Austin Gomber, those of us who've been down this path will not get caught dead walking it again. And for those considering walking that path, I'm going to have to give you a staunch warning here. I don't know if I used that right. It's a weird, I'm post-vax, getting back into things. I'm off my game a little bit, but I still know that Austin Gomber is a 0.
I guess I need to heed your warning. I like those lines. I mean, at New York, at Pittsburgh.
But Todd, we've.
Well, I mean, he had the week that he.
The second one wasn't that bad.
The second one was fine.
That's true.
I'm going 2, and he's probably available.
You're bolder than I am.
I am bolder. I am bolder. Yeah, I'm nothing if not bold. Right, I'm the biggest wuss in the world.
No.
Well, anyway.
But I like that. I mean, because I think very few people would stick their neck out at all for Gomber. Like I gave him a 0. So.
Right, I'm going to go 2, and I'm not going to give him the no-hitter of the week, but I'll bet I have him. If I didn't drop him when I picked him up before, I kind of like these. I need to double check. And against lefties, even at this point of the year, it's such a small sample that it's not too reliable. But I'm kind of liking these. New York, everybody hurt, and Pittsburgh's just terrible. 2 of the best pitching parks in the league. Heck, he's going to be a 4 if we don't move on.
Yeah, those are 2 of the best pitching parks in the league. What about Freeland coming back off the IL? He started for AAA Albuquerque yesterday, looks like, and went 6 innings, but threw 79 pitches. So he was efficient. If I'm not even giving Gomber anything, I guess, I'm probably giving Freeland a 0, but I could see a 1.
I wanted to look. You just answered my question. I wanted to look up the number of pitches because I need, do you project him for 4 innings or you project him for 5? I mean, that matters because he's in play for the win.
Yeah, he went from 66 in his previous outing to 79 yesterday.
Yeah, I was hoping he would. We actually thought he might make this outing in the majors. He obviously did it down in the farm. I'm going to go with a 1. I don't think Kyle Freeland's all that good. If people think, he grew up in Colorado, therefore he can pitch in Colorado. No. But again, these matchups, if he's able to go 5 innings against these teams, I'm gonna give him a 1.
Lance Lynn has been great on the surface, and Giolito not so much, but he had a really good outing.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about, maybe the seams on the new ball affecting guys with changeups. I think I heard maybe he was throwing his slider a little bit more in this outing.
Giolito, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, I still got him as a 5 and Lynn's a 5. So
yeah, both 5s. Yeah, the thing I liked about the Giolito outing was he didn't look so good early, right? Mm-hmm. He gave up some runs early, maybe even a home run. But go away, don't look at the box score, check back 7 innings later, and there's double-digit strikeouts and everything was fine. Funny how that works. That was a day game. I actually watched it, but I'm still good on Giolito.
Spencer Turnbull after his no-hitter. Tree falling in the woods type of no-hitter, but good for him anyways.
Well,
he's been really solid.
Should Johnny Vandermeer be nervous? He's got the Indians.
Wait, did Vandermeer throw 2 in a row?
Yeah, he's the guy. Man, come on, Clay.
I don't. My history is kind of shaky, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Before 1990. Anyway.
Only one that's thrown 2 consecutive no-hitters, Johnny Vandermeer. And you know what? I'm not. This is not a victory lap. Trust me. But I used Turnbull in DFS the night of his no-hitter, and this is how poor of a DFS player I've become. I barely min-cashed using a guy that threw a new hitter, and I didn't even double up. It was in the. It was a. I don't remember if it was Tout night or not. Had to be because I'm only playing on Tuesdays now. But yeah, it took a no-hitter for me to min-cash in the GPP, and I didn't even hit the double up with using Turnbull. 50 points, whatever. That's And I used to be good at this. Anyway.
I got to say, I don't know if I was ever good at DFS, but it's just a different. It's just a tough game, and it's a volume game, and I
used to be passable.
It's just so hard to boil Major League Baseball down to one day. But I'll give Turnbull a 4. What say you on Turnbull 4? Okay.
Yeah, scared of the Yankees, but
pretty beat up right now.
Yeah, if they acquired Delano DeShields, then we have to reconsider. We're gonna go 4. A couple of home games. Yeah, we're gonna go 4.
Tariq Skubal's not been very good, but versus Cleveland, versus the Yankees, does kind of scare you. But he did get his first win finally.
And he too gutted that one out, right? I mean, he didn't do so well early.
Yeah,
but hung in there.
Struck out 9. And so with that first win, he is now 1-6. Yeah, that team is really bad. But I'll probably give Skubal. I'm gonna give him a 2. If I got Wade Miley, I kind of got him in the Wade Miley-ish range.
The problem I see with Skubal is he could just as easily go 4 innings as he can go, 6. I'm probably gonna go 1, but
okay.
Yeah,
I just think there's something a little better there than he's shown.
I still like him. I'm not gonna say he's a staff ace, but I still do like him long term.
No, Houston's got 2 off days next week, so no 2 starters, 2 starters projected for them. Your guy Brad Keller, Todd, is this a week to start him or maybe pick him up at Tampa Bay, at Minnesota? Pretty nice, kind of like Skubal. I feel like he's better than he's shown, and Keller has shown a better level at the big league level before, but 3 earned runs, 2-3-2. He hasn't been that bad lately. A couple of bad outings really skewing things.
He doesn't have that 7-inning, 9 strikeout to sort of balance the bad ones. He's just okay the rest of the time. I've got him listed in 0 range. I don't know if I'll adjust the innings to get him up into the 1 range. It's one I don't think I'll pick him up if he's available, but I have him on some DCs. I will have to do a deeper dive to decide if I want to use him on draft champions leagues.
So you got a 0.
I'm going to go with a 1. I have a feeling that I was shy on the innings, and if I bring him up to 5 1/3 or something, even it sounds so silly, but even the difference between 5 and 5 1/3 is significant enough to raise someone up 10, 15 places in the rankings.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I got a 2 on Brad Keller, but Todd's got a 1. Real quick before we move on, a word from our friends at Vivid Seats. The world is coming back and the NFL season is upon us. I don't know about you, Todd, but I'm pumped for the recent released regular season schedule. If you're like me and you're looking to see the action live, then head over to Vivid Seats, the ultimate go-to source for live events. From the biggest concerts and games to the hottest theater and comedy shows, Vivid Seats makes it easy for you to discover your favorite event, find your seat, gain entry, and make new memories. Just download the app, choose your city, and get access to the largest selection of tickets on the games and performances you love, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, and more. For a limited time, Vivid Seats is giving our listeners 10% off your ticket, up to $30 max. Just use the promo code ROTOWIRE when you check out. Every purchase is backed by its 100% guarantee, and you'll even earn cash back with the Vivid Seats Rewards program. Vivid Seats, getting you into the game. Todd, back to the 2 starters for the week of May 24th, 2021. Nobody for the Angels because they got a 6-man and only 6 games next week. But for the Dodgers, they got 7 games since they're playing a doubleheader next Saturday. And Clayton Kershaw at Houston versus San Francisco. Got to have him a 5.
The look on my face was that maybe I missed a doubleheader. Did they? I don't have them for a doubleheader.
Oh nope. I just saw that the primary pitcher and I confused it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's on.
It's all good. Yeah, we should take care
Thanks
of this
for
stuff.
pointing that out. Sometimes when I see the primary, I just blank out.
Yeah, I have been wrong plenty of times. So anyway, so the point. We're talking Kershaw. Was that one of them?
Yep, Kershaw's a 5 for me. Same for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Also, he's the only one, right?
Yeah. I was just rambling on.
Got it.
Trevor Rogers, Sandy Alcantara. I'm going to go out on a limb and give these guys both 5s. That's not really going out on much of a limb. Maybe a little bit more so for Alcantara, but he just had a great 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, 9 Ks at Philly. So give me 5s for both of these guys.
I'm in the 4 range. The at Boston. I mean, they're in the high 20s. I'm sorry, the low 20s, which means, they're in cusp of 1. But I think the at Boston is keeping them from the top 20.
Yeah, that's probably more reasonable. I just love those guys. And
bold and reasonable. I'm now bold and reasonable.
Well, I am just unreasonable with these guys. I reckon.
No, that makes sense. I mean, they're so close. I mean, yeah.
Alcantara's he's been a little iffy, but
and Boston has
maybe
shown.
Boston.
I mean, they don't crush it every game. They just went through a spell where they couldn't hit the blind side of a barn. So good pitching.
How are they doing against lefties this year? Generally, do you know?
Who cares? It's. I'm not
early.
No, I honestly. Usually they don't do very well, and it's like why? Because they got Bogarts and they got Martinez. I think they're doing fine against lefties. But so that would be Rogers. Yeah, I mean, I can see a 5. I mean, I'm starting them. I'm just rating them on relative to the rest is a 4. I'm starting them everywhere I have them for sure.
Well, you're sticking to your new system, and I like.
I'm sticking to it. I'm bold. I'm bold, and I'm reasonable, and I'm stick to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for Milwaukee, Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, both 5s versus San Diego at Washington.
Yeah, no argument there. No argument there.
For the Twins, no 2-start starters, but I was glad to see Randy Dobnak on his way back. Going to be starting tonight's game.
Yep.
So they're giving Kenta Maeda an extra day, and I think Michael Pineda's on the IL.
Yep.
Let me look at what is keeping Pineda out. A thigh issue. A procedure to remove an abscess in the inner part of his thigh. I have Michael Pineda in a few leagues. So I don't have Randy Dobnak anymore. Probably not going to be looking to pick him up, but he was off. I think to a pretty good start in the minors, and it's versus Baltimore. So maybe I'll get back in on the Dobnak train. Well, probably to my own detriment.
If you don't get Gomber, take
Dobnak.
That's me. I'm getting the Gomber. Anyway,
you'll get Gombered and I'll get Dob smacked.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, how about that? For the Mets, David Peterson, Jacob deGrom probably getting 2 in his return versus Colorado versus Atlanta. Peterson, I'm probably going to just give a 1, deGrom a 5.
Wow, I like Peterson this week. Colorado's just can't hit lefties, and it's at home.
Terrible.
I'm going. Atlanta's scary, but they don't hit lefties well either. I'm going to go 2. I'm sticking with the system. I'm going 2 on Peterson. And if I get trolled, I get trolled. I'm going 2 on Peterson.
All right. I got you down for 2.
He leapfrogs Gomber as if he's available. And he could be available in 12s, right? Maybe even 15s. Mm-hmm. He's my guy. I hate doing this because now Twitter's going to say, Zola says Peterson's as good as John Means. Reminds me of Means a little bit. All right, they're both lefties. I think Peterson where Means was a couple years ago, where I want to know if the skills are going to get better. I don't know if their pitch mixes are similar. I don't want to take it that far, but I'm at the point where I can see where Peterson could get better. And a couple years ago, that's what we were saying about Means.
Now the Klubot, it may be regression night for him at home against Toronto, but then at Detroit's pretty darn nice. So. I need to take the L on Klubot because I just didn't see him coming back at this level. We'll see if he's anywhere close to this level at the end. But even through nearly 2 months, he's just been a lot better than I realized. And I thought he was capable of being at this stage of his career. But I'm going to give him a 4, just because I'm a little tentative about that first start.
Give him a 5. I mean, he's 17, so a third of an inning between Alcantara and Kluber, and they flip-flop, and the numbers flip-flop. I was laughing when you were saying that for those of us on the video because I'm searching these pitchers to look them up, and I search Klubot. So, and I don't have him down as Klubot. Is it right? if the industry is an L, I don't know if we had take an L. With me, the thing with Kluber was, early on, I was like, he could do it. He could figure it out with 90 miles an hour. He could do it. Then I got discouraged. So I wish I stick to itness with Kluber, and I'd say that I'm not surprised he threw a no-hitter. But I was down early in the year. I was like, I don't know, maybe he can't do it. But I'm going to give him a 5 on this one.
All right, I got you down for a 5. Now, Oakland, Frankie Montas, Cole Irvin. It was, I believe, Cole Irvin regression night at the ballpark on Thursday. Yeah, yesterday. 8 hits, 5 runs. It wasn't that bad, but yeah, I've been hesitant to buy in. I guess that was a little, recency bias and confirmation bias, but even versus Seattle, I don't know. I feel like there's more regression coming for Irvin. Montas, though, I'll probably give him like a 3. I think he's probably above like Miley, above Scooble, but right on par with like Arietta. So, yeah, I'll give Montas a 3. And Cole Irvin probably a 2.
All right, I'm giving Montas a 3. I'm going to give Irvin a tentative 4. The reason why I'm a little more – well, he's been striking batters out. Mm-hmm. And I think in our head he doesn't strike anybody out. He was striking a batter and inning out. I want to double-check if where we are with that. Is his swinging strike too high? Is there you talk about regression, is there strikeout regression coming? Because if there's not strikeout regression coming, I like those home starts against Seattle and LA. Those are 2 good lineups, especially with Mike Trout out. Mike Trout out. I know he's out, but he's still not Trout. I'd like those lineups, and it's more of a matchup thing than a quality of pitcher thing. But I'm going to give him a tentative 4, and it might drop to a 3.
Looking a little bit under the hood on Irvin, just on his Fangraphs page, 9.5% swing strike rate, not terrible.
That's low. That's low for his strikeout rate, though, right? Look at the percentage.
Yeah, I mean his strikeout rate's pretty low. First pitch strike is really pretty strong, though.
Well, first pitch, as we talk about, first pitch strike is more to do with walks than it does with strikeouts.
True.
But yeah, I thought he was striking out a batter an inning. So what is his strikeout percent? I can look it up myself. But,
he's only at like 6.8 per 9, and so that's only at 18.3 K percentage for.
All right, so I probably have missed the regression. It's already occurred because at one point he was a batter an inning. Mm-hmm. So
that's tumbled a little bit.
Right. All right. So I'm going to guess that I'm going to drop him to a 3 once after having done the work. All right, yeah. So look, his last 3 games, it's a combined 6 strikeouts, and that's in 17 2/3. Previous to that was 9.866. He was well over a batter inning. So something's going on in the last 3 games to drop his overall, whether it's just competition or whatever it might be. He's not missing bats currently, so that is a concern, but. I'm still going to just drop him to a 3.
Oh, yeah. I had you 4, but dropped to a 3. I'll mark that. Again, we will just recap these at the end of the show. Zach Eflin at Miami, at Tampa Bay. I think he's probably a 4, even though it seemed like a lot of people were expecting a pretty big leap forward. Maybe that won't happen, but Eflin's been fine and pretty good matchups. I'll give him a 4.
4 is pretty big leap. Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's not a consistent guy who's moving the needle for you right now, though. At the start, you're not pumping your fist.
I have him in the 5 range. Now, I think it's a matchup thing. A couple of good parks, even though it's on the road, it's still an overall improvement over Citizens Bank, and a couple of beatable lineups. So I've got him in the 5 range, but I may have the innings over projected. But even so, I'll stick with 5 for now.
Trevor Cahill, I know, was a little banged up, but tentatively penciled in for 2. He's got calf discomfort, left calf discomfort, forced him from his last start. He's a 0 anyway.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have whiplash from turning around and watching all the balls leave the park.
Yeah, that may be the real issue behind this. Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, both 5s, right? You can't box Snell down to a 4 yet, I don't think.
I think that Snell might be a 4. I just was looking at something else in the interim. Let me search Snell here. Live radio, folks. I actually have Snell in the 3 range. Basically, I think it's innings. I don't know that you can. I don't think
he went 6 for the first time since like 2019 recently.
That he did, but I don't know that you can count on it. And at Milwaukee, at Houston, Houston, if you haven't looked lately, is good again.
They really are. It was against Colorado that he went 6 and struck out 11.
Right. And again, lefties against Colorado, one of the best bets there is in all of professional and minor league sports. All right. Yeah. The thing with, talking about Houston a little bit, I'm hearing people saying Kyle Tucker's hot, time to move him up in the order. Who are you going to move down? They're all hitting 300. I know batting average is not the be-all, end-all, but just as an example, they're all hitting 300. Maybe you move him up ahead of Correa and put him 6th. But the top 5 of that order is currently crushing it. And that, I believe that's an industry term. I can't say it like Marisa Tomei, sorry.
So you got Snell as a 3. Okay, I got him as a 5, but because I just think he's better than what he's shown earlier.
Well, you're wrong.
I get it. What's that?
You're wrong. I'm just kidding.
No, I may be.
All right. So the other one was Musgrove.
Musgrove.
I have to imagine that he's up there. Yeah, number 10. So he's a 5.
Matchups. Justin Dunn for Seattle at Oakland versus Texas. He hasn't been that bad. Oakland's pretty good, but they don't really scare you on the road. And then versus Texas, pretty nice. I kind of like Justin Dunn as an ad, but I still think I'll probably go. Probably still put him in the Miley bucket. So 2 for me.
I'm going 3. I don't like him as very much as a pitcher, but no, you're right. I can't make that judgment. He's just meh. I'll go 3. I think it's a work in progress, so I don't think it can go either way. So I'm going to go 3.
It's been a tough start for Logan Gilbert. You holding Logan Gilbert in leagues if you got him? Not a 2-start option next week.
Well,
at Oakland.
This is a dumb answer. Yes, in keeper leagues. I don't know about redraft at this point.
I think you probably just paid so much. You're kind of pot committed to seeing it out, seeing it through for a while yet.
I guess so. What's he got this week? I know it's a good start.
At Oakland, yeah. I kind of like that matchup, but the league I have him in, I'm pretty scared to start him.
That's a tough start. If I can afford to sit on him, I'm not going to sit on anybody because I'll hurt them. But I guess I'd like to. I think you need to keep waiting. But I'm not as I thought they had a. When a batter's got. I talked earlier. I'm not so sure. I like what that Jared Walsh is walking all the time in the minors. I want to see these kids swing against lesser competition. But yet if a guy has a walk rate, we think he has a good chance of succeeding when he first gets called up. He's such good control and command for Gilbert. I thought he had a better chance of succeeding when he first came up, but maybe he's just around the plate too much. I'm holding.
I didn't see his follow-up, but I saw a little bit of his debut, and he was around the plate. Everything was a little straight, flat.
I'm holding, but I don't know that I'm starting against Oakland.
Now, to add insult to injury with the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Giants, Todd, they were trotting out like all former Reds pretty much. Alex Wood, Johnny Cueto, Anthony DeSclafani, and Kevin Gossman, even a former Red. And Gossman was the most impressive of all of them. The guy is just excellent with that splitter. He just is fantastic. He only allowed 1 hit over 6 innings against the Reds. Has not allowed more than a run in any of his last 6 starts, Todd. So over his last 6 starts, he's pitched 40 innings for a 0.90 ERA, 0.80 whip, 49 to 9 K to walk. So can't really get much better for him than his recent run over the last, month and a half, or I guess month over his last 6 starts. But at the same time, I don't expect the regression blow to be coming anytime soon and for it to be that bad. Maybe that at the Dodgers a little bit comes at the end of next week, but I think Gossman's earned the 5 tier. So I'm going 5.
I'm going 5 without hesitation. Yep.
Very nice. Now, Kwang Hyun Kim at the White Sox at Arizona. Derek Carty will, I mean, he won't actually care, but he would probably cringe if he heard me say lefty mashers. But that White Sox team against lefties does scare me, and at Arizona, not as much, but I still think I'm going to give Kim only a 3.
I've got him in the 2 range, and a lot of it has to do with the White Sox they're 25 WOBA points above the next team against lefties. And I mentioned earlier that splits against lefties are sketchy, but we're talking the whole team. We're not talking a player. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not convinced Kim can go more than 5 1/3. So,
he's been pretty good so far, but
his strikeouts are up, or relative to what we thought, basically because we didn't know coming from overseas, and last year they weren't all that impressive. So the jury was still out. But anyway, I'm going 2.
All right. So Kwang Hyun Kim, I got a 3. Todd 2. Ryan Yarbrough at Toronto versus Philly. Excuse me. Ryan Yarbrough, a little shaky. I know our friend Jason Collette was saying, like, please. Once again, he did the Bernie Sanders meme where I'm once again asking you to not put Ryan Yarbrough in a starting role. Just have him as that primary guy. He does seem to thrive in that role. At Toronto, I guess it is at Toronto, so at Dunedin. That scares me. And I'm probably going to give Ryan Yarbrough a 2, honestly.
All right, so we're still in Dunedin. We're not quite at the end of the month yet. So
that'll be 5/24. Yeah. So.
Right. So we're still in Dunedin. What did you say? I'm going 3. I forget what you said.
I said a 2, but you got a 3.
It's a very sketchy 3. I reserve the right to drop him to a 2 in the actual rankings.
A guy who, I guess that's a wraparound series because they're playing Monday and they're playing Toronto this weekend. I'm a little nervous to see how McClanahan does. At Toronto, at Dunedin. I was thinking about benching him in labor, but then at the last second, I dropped Ryan Stanek and put him back in my lineup.
Yeah,
so McClanahan's just a guy who I think you never know when he could just have like a 11K gem. So
having seen that park in action, when the wind blows out to right, and when that wind blows out to right, you're scared every pitch. Man. It's in Dunedin, so we'll see. Anyway.
No 2-start starters for Texas tentatively, but Toronto, Ross Stripling, Steven Matz. I'm going to say Alek Manoah makes one of these combined 4 starts. Or maybe subs for Anthony Kay. But I'm going to say Ross Stripling, 0, and that he gets replaced. I'm going to say he actually gets replaced over Anthony Kay for now. But it's close.
Yeah, and there's 0s.
Yeah.
Well, they may be decent human beings, but as far as our scale goes, they're 0s.
Yeah, and
actually, let me check on Max. I shouldn't be so quick with Max, although
the Yankees. I mean,
yeah. I am at 99, which is in the border of 1 and 0. I'm going to go with the 1 just because Cleveland isn't a great matchup.
Hey, if he just sneaks inside the top 100, he gets the 1.
Yeah.
Scherzer's a 5. So.
Oh yeah.
He's God, the Reds just it's not going to get any easier. They got Scherzer next week. At least they get Joe Ross to follow that up. Looks like Strasburg will be back next week. Or no, he's starting tonight.
Yeah.
And then he's back. Yeah, I must have missed that. So he had a rehab outing, and man, we'll see what Strasburg can do the rest of the way. But I have a feeling that team's going to be tearing it down at the deadline. So we will recap our 2-starter grades. Again, these are tentative, but definitely check out the RotoWire 2-start grid, projected starters grid for more current version before your free agent bidding this weekend. Riley Smith, 0. Charlie Morton, 4. John Means, 5. Dean Kramer. I wrote Daniel Kramer here for some reason, but Dean Kramer, 0. Nick Arietta, 3. Todd's got a 2 on Arietta. Wade Miley, I say 2. Todd, 1. Sam Hedges, 0. Aaron Savali, 5. Austin Gomber, I say 0, Todd 2. I refuse to get Gombered again, but Todd will
glutton for punishment. Glutton for punishment
for Austin Gomber. Kyle Freeland 0, Lance Lynn 5, Lucas Giolito 5, Spencer Turnbull 4, Tariq Scooble, I say 2, Todd 1, Brad Keller, I say 2, Todd 1. Clayton Kershaw 5, Trevor Rogers, I say 5, Todd 4, Sandy Alcantara, I say 5, Todd 4, Brandon Woodruff 5, Corbin Burns 5, David Peterson, I say 1, Todd 2, Jacob DeGrom 5, Corey Kluber, I say 4, Todd 5, Frankie Montas 3, Cole Irvin, I say 2, Todd 3, Zach Eflin, I say 4, Todd 5, Trevor Cahill 0, Blake Snell, I got a 5, but Todd says only 3 on Blake Snell. Joe Musgrove 5, Justin Dunn, I say 2, Todd 3, Kevin Gossman 5, Kwang Hyun Kim, I say 3, Todd 2, Ryan Yarborough 2, Todd 3, Ross Stripling 0, Steven Matz, I say 0, Todd 1, and then Max Scherzer 5. Todd, anything else on your mind today, man?
Yeah, real quick before we wrap it up completely, we're talking about no-hitter next week, whatever. Aaron Savali. Well, first, let's just check this out first. Aaron Savali, Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole, Jameson Taillon, and Corey Kluber. Those are 5 of the 7 pitchers the Tigers have to face next week.
Oof.
Man, then they get Hentges and McKenzie. But, yeah, man, 5, well, I mean, is Taillon good? I mean, he's good, but anyway, that's just, it is not going to be good for Tigers hitters next week. All right, who am I going to choose, though? Choosing Garrett Cole is cheating, right? You can't choose Garrett Cole, but
no, I don't know. That's a layup.
I mean, he's got Detroit. I mean,
yeah, that seems like a good one. Plus, we're not going to hold you to it, Todd.
Yeah, all right, you know what?
Not in the dark.
I'm gonna go Barrios against Baltimore. Anyway,
that's a light. I like that long shot. I'm glad that you didn't take the easy route.
I'm just
you got Savali and
just kind of curry favor with the site president there.
Barrios.
Yeah, right. Real quick, the Z Files this week's on 6 pitchers that are starting out poorly and get better. But again, I don't want to use the word cheated, but because I write the tout table, it's the same question we proposed to the tout. So the check out the tout table this week. What 6 pitchers of the 6 are you most wanting to acquire, and which of the 6 do you most want to avoid? What was it? That was Louis Castillo, Kenta Maeda, Charlie Morton, and the rest will be a surprise. How about that?
Yeah, definitely check out the Z Files. Check out Tout Table. Check out the Tout Wars Fab update, which I always find useful to double check things, make sure I'm not missing anybody. It's out a couple hours before NFBC Fab. Thank you, Todd. I look forward to talking to you on our XM show here in a couple hours, and then tomorrow on MLB Network Radio. And we'll look forward to talking to you all next week on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, sponsored by WinBet.
Try RotoWire today, free for 10 days. Get our premium tools, rankings, analysis, and breaking news alerts. No credit card required. Go to rotowire.com/try.